Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I have combined all C programming beginners tutorial I have uploaded earlier into one full video. So you can sit back, learn at your own pace, and follow along without switching between the episodes. It covers all C programming basics in one place. From writing your first program to variables, data types, and controller statement. Let's dive right in, and don't forget to grab a notebook or open your IDE and practice along. Let's dive in. Hello everyone, today in this video we will talk about C programming statement. I am instructor Milan Gemire. After watching this presentation, you will learn about statement in C programming. To get started with this presentation, you do not need any prior knowledge of C programming. It's completely beginner friendly. To access the full playlist of C programming, the link is provided down in the description. Please don't forget to check it out. Also, please subscribe our YouTube channel and help it to grow. So let's get started with statement in C. What is a statement? A statement is the smallest unit of a code that performs an action or express an instruction in program. For example, here this is a small statement that is if statement. You can see here, if number is greater than 0, printf positive number. Here this if statement is a control statement. During the execution, it will check the condition and execute the instruction or the statement that is inside the given statement. Statements are divided into several types: control statement, expression statement, declaration statement, compound statement, null statement, and IO statement. In control statement, we will talk about decision-making statements, looping statements, jump statements. So let's get started with control statement first. So what is control statement? It is the statement help the computer to execute a certain logical statement. For example, this is code on execution. There are a bunch of codes that will execute on the first go. If some certain condition arises or some condition is encountered, then another set of code or the next code should be executed or do something or some other logic. Let us assume a butterfly that is flying over the code. It will first go to the first flower, for example, the first code. This is the first part of the code. It will continue to fly until it gets some conditions or some barriers. After that, it will fly over the next flower or next code, and it again execute the code in the serial manner or the procedural manner. It will decide whether to enable the control of the flow through a certain set of a statement or not, or it is used to direct the execution of statement under certain condition. So decision-making control statements. First is if statement. It is a simple statement that we will see in the C programming or any other programming language. It is used when the condition is only true. Here you can see, if this condition is true, then the statement 1 will be executed. And there is no else part in this statement. There is a false part. If this condition is not true, if it is false, then other statement will be executed. If the condition of the statement is true, then the statement under if block will be executed. So here it is a syntax. If inside the brackets condition and the statement. Else the control is transferred to the statement outside if block. Here's a simple program to demonstrate the if statement. As you know, include studio.h is a header file for C programming. Int main, this is the first entry point of the program. Int number, we have initialized the number as an integer variable and we have assigned the value that is 10. If number is greater than 5. Now here this is a statement. If the number is greater than 5. If 10 is greater than 5. Now by our perspective, it is true. So the statement printf the number is greater than 5 will be printed in our console. If that is not true, that is if the condition is false, then this outside the block will be printed. So this is quite simple statement in C programming. I think you got this. Now let's go to next statement, that is if else statement. By looking this flowchart, we can clearly see that how if-else statement works. First of all, we will be encountered with the condition. There will be certain condition that will be either true or false. If the condition is true, the statement 1 will be executed. If it is false, or let's say else, in place of false, else, statement 2 will be executed. And after that it will leave the block and go to other statement. Here you can see a bit different than if statement. We will also have the else part over here. Like inside the condition, there will be another part of the code that is else. If number is greater than 5, then it will print this. If it is not, or let's say else, then this is printed. After completing this block of code, then only it will go to next part of the code, that is outside the if-else block. You got this. Now a bit higher, that is nested if-else statement. The word nested itself very clearly defined. Outer if check its condition. The outer is if check its condition. That means here you can see first it will get one condition over here. After that it will have two result, either it's true or false. If true, the inner if or else execute based on the inner condition. Now after one condition there will be another condition. If true, also we will get a different condition, else false, also we will get another condition. So after that we can have other conditions and continue its tree or hierarchy. If outer if is false, outer else will be executed. Outer else can have its own nested if else. Control flows through conditions sequentially. Here's a simple nested if statement program. You can see include studio.h, the main program. We have initialized number with 5 value. Now if number is greater than 5, yes, now it will go inside this loop. Now this will go inside the first statement. After that it encountered with another if, that is if number is less than 10, because after one if it is going to check another condition as well. The number is positive and less than 10. Now yes, it will be printed. So what is happening here is the first condition is checked, after that again the second condition is checked, third condition will be also in the same and similar manner, and it will continue how much it is required. So it's a nested if. The if statement will be inside the if statement, that is the nested if statement. Now let's go to if else if ladder statement. Decide among the multiple options. For example, if you get so many multiple options and you have to choose among them, then if else if ladder statement will be one helpful tool for you. Suppose there is a condition that will be true, then one statement will be executed, and after that it will go to the next statement if any other statement is in line. False, if the condition is false, then condition 2 will be checked. If it's true, the statement of condition 2 will be executed and it will go back again. If false, then it will go to another condition and again execute its statement and come to the next statement. And if that is also false, then the default statement will be executed. What is happening here is if the condition is true, one statement will be executed. If false, it will only check another statement or another condition. If it is false again, then it will go to the next condition and continue its execution. It is like the ladder. The first if condition is checked. If it is true, the corresponding block will be executed and the rest are skipped. If false, else if condition is checked. If no condition are true, the else block is executed. Here you can see one example that is very easy. First of all, we have initialized the marks with 85. If marks is greater than or equal to 90, then we have to print the grade is A. Else if 80, it will check for 80. Marks is greater or equal to 80, then it should be grade B and continue on. Grade F, that is fail. Now what happened? If the score is 85, then it will come under the else if this part, right? The first condition is check. Marks is greater than or equal to 90, then it's false. Then it will go to the next. Else if marks is greater than or equal to 80, then yeah, it's true. Now it will print grade B and rest of this code will be skipped and it will come to the return 0 and the program stop. Now let's go to switch statement. Switch statement is used when you have multiple conditions to check, replacing a long chain of if-else statement. So previously we have seen the if-else statement that we have to go one by one and check one by one condition until we find our desired output. But in the switch case statement, this is completely solved. The switch expression is evaluated once and its value determines which case or which block it should execute. If no matching case is found, the default block is executed. Stop the executions of the remaining case block once it is found. In the flowchart, you can see the expression over here. One expression will be defined from here, and under that expression what we will put is we will put some options, that is case 1, 2, how many cases you want to put over there, to case n and default. Now if the expression is pointing to case number 2, that it will go directly to the case 2 and it will start executing its statement, and after that it will break the execution and it will terminate the switch statement. For example, here you can see the program int day equals to 3. Now we have initialized the day variable with 3 integer, switch day. Now what we are doing is we are giving an expression for day. This is 3. Now if the day become 3, right, the switch will read the value of day, that is 3. Now it will source the case. Now case 3 is day equals to 3, the case 3, then it will print Wednesday and it will break the program. If the input was randomly initialized as 1 to 4, no case will be matched and the default will be executed, that is invalid day, and finally it will stop the condition. Next is conditional operator. Conditional operator is also one of the statements we frequently use in our program. Add conditional code in our program will be very easy to solve a small and a small condition. This is the syntax for conditional operator. Here you can see the condition and one question mark sign over here and expression 1, and we can see the colon and expression 2. Now what is mean by this? Let's go to the flowchart. First of all, we will get an expression 1, that is the condition. If the condition is true, the first part, so if true then question mark part, and if false then we will execute after the colon part. Now here you can see false, the part will get executed, true, the part will be executed, and we will redirect to another line of code after finishing this condition. Expression 1 executed if the condition is true, expression 2 executed if the condition is false. Let's see one example. Again, we took a number 10 and we have initialized character, that is result. Now here you can see result is equals to number is greater than 5. Now this is the condition, first condition. If now after this question mark greater than 5, after this colon less than or equal to 5, and we have printed the string, that is result. Here you can see number is greater than 5, 10 is greater than 5, yes, it's greater than 5. Then what will happen is after the question mark sign, the greater than 5 will be printed and this part will be left or skipped. Suppose the number is 3, it will leave this part and it is like a false condition. Then after this colon less than 5 is printed. You got this. This is really handy tool while we are writing a big code on C programming. We can frequently use this one line code in order to decrease our code length. Instead of writing if and else, if statements, we can write this very easily. That was the condition checking part. Now let's go to jump statement. The jump statement are used to transfer the control to a different part of the program suddenly or without following the normal flow. Inside jump statement, there are different type of statement. First, let's talk about go to statement. It allows the program to jump to some part of a code. Here you can see the flow chart. At this part, the program has started, and statement 1 we have labeled it with label 1, and statement 2 is with label 2, and level 3 for the statement 3. Now while executing the statement 1, we encountered go to level 3 condition. That is, we found go to statement pointing to level 3. Now what will happen is, as we have said, the program suddenly transfer its control to the different part. That is, it is transferring the control to level 3. Now after executing the statement 1, it will go to statement 3 and continue its execution. Useful in certain situations like error handling or exiting the complex loop. The error handling will be discussed in our later videos. If you want to directly learn error handling, you can check it in the description as well. If we want to take a control to our desired part of a program, we also use goto statement. Here you can see a small code of goto statement in C programming. Again, we initialize the number with -5. If number is less than 0, go to negative. Here we have used the goto statement. Now if number is less than 0, it's -5. Yes, it's less than 0. Then what happen is go to negative. Now it will jump to the negative level. The negative is not any keywords, but it is the level that we should match in order to use the goto statement. Here you can see the negative leveled in somewhere in the program. Now it will search for negative text that is negative. It will act as a pointer in the program that will point starting of the program onward. Printf, the number is negative, return 0. Now what happened is it transferred the control to this part. Now this is left as it is and executed never. Another is break statement, used to exit from loop or switch statement prematurely. Even if the condition or even if the loop statement or the execution is not completed, also it will exit in certain condition. Here in the flowchart you can see loop condition expression. If it is true, loop code will execute it, and if the break statement is encountered, it will leave the execution and go to another statement. If the statement is false, it will not go inside the condition, but it will execute its next statement. Here you can see a small example. This is the loop that we have created. Until now, we have not studied about loop, but we will soon study in our part 2 the loop. So please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon on so that you will get the notification first when we upload the updates. Int main, for this is a for loop. We have initialize I as 1 and we are going to I less than or equal to 10. So 1 to 10 the loop will run, and in the each iteration what we are doing is we are increasing the I value. Now what is here? If I equal to 5. Now this is the condition. Then what we are doing is we are using a break statement over here and we are printing that 5. So what will happen over here? Like it will start the loop, and if the condition that is I equals to 5 arise, then it will break the loop. That is premature because the loop was expected to run until it hit the 10, that is its limit, but we are breaking it when we encountered the 5th iteration, and we have printed the I value, that is 5 of course, and we have exited from the loop. So this is the break statement that we may need in our program. When we are actually implementing the program in some projects, then we will learn even better. Now let's go to the continue statement. Continue statement skips the remaining code in a current loop iteration and move to the next iteration. You should know that inside the condition, if there are bunch of iteration, then we have to skip only one iteration, then we can use the continue statement. When we are inside the loop, if the condition is encountered and we have used the continue statement, then what will happen is it will skip that part of the iteration and move to next iteration. Here you can see it will be more clear by this example. For I is equals to 1 until 5 and I++. If I equal to 3, continue. Now what happened is when the third iteration is running, it will skip that iteration and move to next, and we have printed I in every time. That is, it will print like 1, 2, but it will not print 3 because we have used the continue statement. It will just leave that 3 and move to end with 5. Now what happened is we have skipped one iteration that we want. That is, so this is a continuous statement which will be more useful in our project as well. Now the final return statement. Exit the current function and optionally return a value. Now this will be used while we are using in the function. Until now we have not studied about function, but it is way too easy. Here you can see the sum. This is a function. For now, let's not learn about a function, but what we want to be sure that it is returning the value of a plus b, right? So if the value of a plus b, that is like 3 plus 5, that is 3 plus 5 is 8, then we are returning the 8 value to the place where it is called, that is it will be stored in the result. So what is happening over here, it is transferring the control to this part, and the return statement will return the value or exit the function with the value. So this is quite easy for the statement part, but we will learn function in our later videos as well. This is it for the part 1. Do not forget to check out the part 2 for loop statements. Thank you. If you are watching till the end, do not forget to subscribe. Hello everyone. Today we will learn about C keywords and identifier. You are watching We Are Engineers and I'm instructor Milan Gumire. After watching this presentation, you will learn about keywords in C programming that will be used in upcoming programs. So all the playlist is given down in the description. You can check it out. First of all, let us understand about character set. A character set is a set of alphabet, letters and some special characters that is valid in C language. So it focuses on alphabet, letters and some special characters. So we will learn each of them now. First of all, alphabet. Here you can use uppercase A, B, C to X, Y, Z and for lowercase as well. C programming is case sensitive, so if you write the same word in uppercase and lowercase, then that will be two words in C programming. So it is case sensitive. You have to focus in this as well. C accepts both lowercase and uppercase alphabets as a variable and functions that we will be discussing in our upcoming videos. Now let us discuss about digit. That is obviously 0 to 9. Now special character. So this is the table for a special character. You can see the different kind of character that we can use in our C programming. Here you can see the commas, greater and smaller sign and everything that we will use. If you see the semicolon will be used in every lines of code when it is finished. Hashtag include stdio.h at the beginning, and for writing parentheses and curly braces, everything are the special characters. Another is C keywords. Keywords are the predefined reserved word used in programming that have special meaning to the compiler. For example, int money. Here int is a keyword that indicates money is a variable of type integer. Here you can see int is the keyword and the money which will stores the value which is an integer type. So here money has the value of integer. For example, I will give it like the money, a variable which will store 1, 2, 3 as an integer that will store only the integer value. So this int is a keyword. Here you can see money is equals to 200 rs. Now this is the false. Here rs is the character. So we cannot use this kind of value to the integer type variable. We have defined money as an integer type. Here I have mentioned the table that has some of these C keywords like auto, double, like it has the length of the variable, integer that we have already defined, and struct, break, else. And all these keywords, their syntax and application will be discussed in the respective videos. So don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon on as well. So now we will discuss about C identifier. An identifier refers to the name given to entities such as variables, functions, and structures. So it is a name that is given to the entities and variable and functions. So what is meant by entities? The real world entities, you have heard about it. A object, that means, and a variable means storing the value, and the functions that will given some of the name that is mean by C identifier. Identifier must be unique. They are created to given a unique name to entity to identify it during the execution of the program. So to be more clear, let's see the example. Here I have defined a money as an identifier and I have used int keyword so that the money variable will be integer type. So I have defined integer data type. Money is then identifier here. Again, another variable that I will use, identifier account balance. It is of double type. Double means it's a float which has the length more. Here, money and the account balance are identifier, but we cannot use int and double, a keyword, as an identifier. Now let us discuss about rules for naming the identifier. Number 1, a valid identifier can have letters, both uppercase and lowercase, digits and underscore. Number 2, the first letter of the identifier should be either letter or an underscore. You cannot use number as the first starting identifier name. So another is you cannot use keyword like int, while, etc. as an identifier. There is no rule how long an identifier can be. However, you may run into problems in some of the compiler if the identifier is longer than 31 character. So you can choose any name as an identifier if you follow all the above rule. However, giving a meaningful name to identifier makes sense. Okay, now I will write a small program in VS Code, so that I will open the VS Code. Here I will create a file that will be in .c extension, and I will open it and start to write the program. Hashtag include stdio.s, this is the header file. Int main, this is the main functions where we will write the program. So I will define a keyword int that will be the integer type, and I will define an identifier or variable that is salary. Now I will give the integer value to this salary. So if we write any characters other, then it will show the wrong. What we have defined is it is integer, so we will put the value integer. 200 is an integer, so it receives integer. But if I write any other thing, then that will be the error. So let's write 200 and continue the program. Now I will simply print the salary. So this is the way how the program is executed. Now let's run this program. Here you can see the extension file has been created. So now let's run this .exe file to see the output in the terminal. And here you can see the salary is 200 RS as we have expected to be. But if we write 200 RS, I have already defined that the program will hit an error. Now let's change this salary, the identifier, to the keyword. Does it accept or not? So I write int and I will give int is equals to 200 and I will print int. Then it is giving an error. So we cannot use the keyword that is already defined in the compiler. It has its special meaning. But if I write underscore at the beginning and start the identifier, then I can do that. There will be no problem in this program. Here you can see underscore Milan, it is not showing any problems and it is executed as we have been expecting. As in the rule, we have said that we cannot use the number in front of the identifier. So here you can see I have added 1 and it is showing an error. So if you follow these kind of rules, then you can use identifier anything you want. So in this video, we have shown only the process to use an identifier. In our upcoming videos, we will learn more about C programming. So don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you. Hello everyone. Today in this video, we will talk about loop in C programming. I'm instructor Milan Gemire. After watching this presentation, you will learn about all the loops in C programming. To get started with this presentation, you do not need any prior knowledge of C programming. It is completely beginner friendly, but it will be better to watch the statement part 1. The link will be given down in the description. To access the full playlist of the C programming, the link is also provided down in the description. If you are new to our YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Let's get started with loops. Loops are control structure in C programming, which allow repeated execution of a block of a code as long as the condition is true. Loop reduce the redundancy in the code and perform the repetitive task efficiently. It is like revolving. You will get one condition. The condition will be either satisfied or it will be not satisfied. If it is satisfied, it will go to the next line of code. If it is not satisfied, then the same block of code will be repeatedly executed. It is like a washing machine that revolves until the cloth is become clean. There are different types of loops in C programming. Mainly while, do while, and for loop are the major type of loops. This table will be very clear for the representation of loops and the differentiation of the loops. It is very important table so that you will understand each and every loop better. Here, for loop, condition is checked before each iteration. In while loop, also before each iteration, but in do while loop after each iteration. Initialization at the beginning, outside the loop and outside the loop. Use case, for loop non-iteration, while loop condition driven task, and do while loop execute at least once. This table will be more clear when we look each of them. So first we will look about for loop. What is for loop? It is a loop which is used to repeat a block of code until the satisfied condition is met. Here in the flowchart, we will first get the initialization expression. So this is an initialization expression. We will first encounter with the test expression. Anything, the condition that we have to test. If it is false, here you can see, if it is false, it will directly go to the next part of the code. Here any other code or the procedure order. But if the condition is true, the for loop body will be executed. After that, update expression and again go to test expression. In this manner, the test expression is continually updated. If it is not updated, then this loop will be forever. So we should know that the expression should be updated very carefully. It is used when the number of iteration is known before we start the loop. For the syntax, you can see here for, we'll put the initialization, the condition, increment or decrement. So this is the syntax. First we will initialize one value, we'll put the condition over there, and we will increment or decrement the initialization value or the conditions. Here you can see test expression, loop body and update expression. This increment or decrement will update the expression. The test expression is evaluated. First of all, here you can see this is the test expression. This is first evaluated. After that, if false, loop terminate. If it is false, the loop is terminated. If true, the loop body is executed. If true, then this body is executed. The update expression is executed after each iteration. So after each iteration, the expression is updated and again the loop is executed. So step 1 and 2 repeat until the test expression become false. So this will be repeat until the test is false. When the condition is false, then it will just leave the loop and continue its operation. When false, the loop terminates. So this is how for loop actually works. So now let's see the example. Okay, here in this example, this is the header file. Include stdio.h and int main is the entry point for any programs in C programming. Here we have initialized the I value as an integer. We have not assigned any value to this variable till now. Now here this is the for loop statement. It is started with for I equals to 1, I less than 11 plus plus I. It is a pre-increment. It doesn't matter until we assign with its value or with the variable. Here the increment is done like I equal to I plus 1. Here you can see this is the initialization part, this is the condition part, and this is the updating expression part. Here you can see the I is assigned with value 1. For loop is started, I value is 1 and I is less than 11 and I plus plus. Now this had defined us like I is ranging from 1 to less than 11. That means I is ranging from 1 to less than 11. It means 10. Now here you can see inside the loop what is happening here is printf %di. Now we are printing the value of I. That is for now I is equals to 1. In first iteration, when it goes, the condition is not satisfied. That is, the condition over here is not outside the loop. It is inside the loop. Here you can see I value is 11. Less than 11, yes. Then 1. The 1 is printed. Again, what happened? The condition is checked. For loop wants to exit, but it is not exiting, not giving to exit. It is not satisfied. It wants to get satisfied and move to the next line of codes below it, but it is not satisfied. Here I will be 2 in second iteration because I plus plus I will increase the value of I by 1. That means 2 is less than 11, and again now 2 is printed. Likewise, what we will get until 10. Now in the 10th iteration, here 10 I value will become 10, like 3 dot 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 to 10. Now what happened here? After 10 is printed, the value will become 11. Now 11 is less than 11. No, it means it will leave this part. It will satisfy to leave the part. For loop want to go outside. The control want to go outside the loop, and it will just leave this for loop, and what we will get is like 1 to 10. This is how for loop works. Another example that will make you very clear include stdio.h. This is the header file, int main. This is a entry point. Here you can see the sum is initialized as 0. Sum is equals to 0. For here the for loop statement is used. Here what we are doing is for int I equals to 1. Here we can define the integer I itself in this part. Int I is equals to 1. That is, I value is for the first iteration, that is 1. After that, I is less than or equal to 10. Now you got it. I is less than or equal to 10. That means it can range from 1 to 10, because here is equal to, so it should not be like 9 less than or equal to 10. That is, I means 1 to 10. And what we are doing is in each iteration I plus plus. And what we are doing here in the statement part or the loop body part, sum plus equal to I. What does it mean? That is like sum, sum equal to sum plus 1 or sum plus I. Sum equals to sum plus I. Sum is initialized as 0. For the first iteration, 0 is equals to 0 plus I value is 1. You see this? Then what happened is this variable is holding 0 plus 1, that is 1. Now sum value became sum equal to 1, right? And the second iteration start to work. The I had already increased. Now I value is 2 and the sum value is 1. You got it. And here I equals to 2. I is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it is less than or equal to 10, and I plus plus. Now what happened? I value is 2. Sum value is 1. Now sum is equals to sum plus I. Now that means sum is now what? That is already 1. And I is 2. Now 1 plus 2, sum became now 3. I also increased by 1, that is I equal to 3. Again in the same manner, it will start to get the sum of I, that is from 1 to 10. Now what happened here? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 and likewise up to 10. The first 10 natural numbers sum is over this variable, that is inside the sum. Now what we are doing is we are printing %d sum outside the loop. You should understand that when it reaches to 10, it is equal to 10 will also iterate, but when it reaches to 11, that is I equal to 11, in this case what happened? The loop will exit and the control will come over here. The sum will hold the value of all the sum like we did before. Now the answer became 55. So in this way we can use the for loop to add repeatedly as well. Now let's dive to while loop. It is entry verified loop. It allows a part of code to be executed multiple times depending upon a given Boolean condition. The Boolean condition, either it is true or false. Here in this flowchart, you can see while loop, it is started. At the very first, the condition is checked. If it is false, it will directly end. If it is true, execute the loop body and again do the same. Previously, we have looped one table. In the table, before each iteration, outside the loop, condition is driven task that we have understand. Condition check is before the iteration. Before the iteration is started, the condition is checked and it is initialization is done outside the loop, and condition driven task, that is according to the condition, the task is performed. Mostly used in a case when the number of iteration is not known in advance. Previously in the for loop, we know the range of the loop. That is like we are ranging from 1 to 11, right? 1 to 10. But in the while condition, we are not known to the iteration. We will only check the condition and do our tasks. So it is a condition driven task. You will be more clear in the example. Here you should know the syntax. While the condition and the code to be executed. It is very simple. If you don't know the range of iteration that you want to print or you want to execute on, first of all, it will evaluate the condition. As I have said, if false, skip the loop. If true, execute the loop body. Repeat step 1 until the condition become false. If the condition become false, it will just leave the loop. So it is quite simple. By this example, you will be more clear about while loop. Now, I will just directly make you clear over this part only. That is, I is less than or equal to 5. You should put attention to this part. Until now, this is the header file. This is the int main is the entry point. I equal to 1, we have initialized I as 1. So first, for the first iteration, I is equals to 1. And printf %d I, as you should know, again, that is, we are printing the I value, just this I value as %d plus I, we are increasing the expression. Now here you should know that for the first time it is only checking the condition, and at the end we are increasing the value, updating the expression. Why we are doing this is like we don't know how much is our range or how much the iteration should occur. That is, I is less than or equal to 5. That means it may from minus 18 to 5 or 0 to 5 or 1 to 5. We don't know about it. According to the user input or the initialized value, we have to perform this loop. In this condition, while loop is very useful. Like I is less than or equal to 5. Now this is the condition. I equals to 1. That is, the value is 1. 1 is less than or equal to 5. Then it is giving the Boolean expression, yes or no. If 1 is less than or equal to 5, yes, we are getting yes, that is true value, true Boolean. So when the true Boolean occur, the printf %d I will be occurred. And if it is false, it will exit the loop. Now what happened over here? I think you can guess it. Yes, of course, we will print 1 to 5. That's great. Now let us go to another example that will also make you very clear in this loop. Here you can see we have previously done this example in a for loop, but here we are using while loop. Again, we have initialized the I value as 1, sum as 0. Why we are initializing sum equal to 0? In the previous program also it may be confusion, right? The sum is equals to 0 because while doing the program, the sum may be holding the garbage value. So garbage value means like a random value like 2, 4, 8, 6, right? So any random numbers. In order to handle that condition, we are initializing it with 0 so that no error occurs, right? So while operation, while loop is used over here. I is less than or equal to 10. Now what happened? I is 10. We have initialized I as 1 already. Now this can be taken from user as well, right? Like enter the number, how much number you want to start with, then scanf. We are taking this I value, but we have initialized it with 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, the true Boolean is occurred, and sum plus equal to I. As before, sum equal to sum plus 1. And what happened? That is 0 plus initially 1, that is 1. And what we are doing? We are storing over sum is itself in the sum, that is sum is equals to now 1. Another conditions occur here, I plus plus, that is I plus 1, that is 2. Now 2 is less than or 10. Yeah, of course, it will add 2 until 10, right? So I will add this number for you. So here you can see, if we add this number, then we will get 55. So the answer is again 55. How easy is this? So while loop is one of the very handy tool while we are doing a big project as well. So I think you understand. First of all, what we are doing, while I is less than or equal to 10, that is until the I value is less than 10, we are doing this iteration, this bunch of code we have performed. If it is exceeding 10 value, then we are going out of the loop and printing this number. So this is quite simple. So the output is like 55, you can see over here, and this is how while loop occurs. Now do while loop. Do while is an exit verified loop. While loop was entry verified, Now this is exit verified. The test condition is checked after executing the loop body. Here you can see in the flowchart, the code block will first execute once, and after that only it will check the condition. If the condition becomes true, it will again execute that block, else it will terminate the loop. So until the condition is satisfied, it will continue to loop, but when the condition failed, it will go. So the previous table also clearly mentioned that after each iteration, the condition is checked, right? The condition is checked after each iteration. So use cases execute at least once. Once the code will be executed, either the condition is satisfied or not, the block statement should execute once. So one iteration will be default. Here you can see, first of all, the syntax looks like this: do while condition. The code to execute will be here. So do code to execute while and condition. Execute the block inside the curly brackets after do. Evaluate the condition in the while statement here. If it is true, go back to state number 1, that is executing this code, and if it is false, exit. So either the condition is satisfied or not, it will execute once, that is for sure. Now let's see the example so that it will be more clear for you. Here you can see include stdio.h header file, the entry point I is initialized as 1. Now here you can see the do statement. This is a do while loop. Here do printf %d I++ while I is less than or equal to 5. Now here you can see we are printing the value of I. Either the condition is fulfilled or not. This condition is checked at the very last of the code or statement after completing the loop body. So we are printing I for the first time in the first go. Here I have initialized the I as 1, that is 1 over here, and this is printed. So 1 is already printed. I value is 1 in the first iteration, it is printed already. And while I is less than or equal to 5, now what is it's checking? The I value is increased and the I is checked less than or equal to 5. That is, now I in the first iteration before printed, right? Or at this part, in this point, I value is 1. After this, I value became 2, right? Yeah. Now here, I is less than or equal to 5. That is, 2 is equal to or less than 5. Yes. Then again it will go. It will print. Now 2 will print it. After that, it became 3. It became 3 here. I value became 3. I is equals to 3 now. Now the condition is checked. I is less than or equal to 5. That is 3 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Then what happened? It will go over here and %di, that is 3. 3 is printed. Again what happened is I++. This 3 will be increased and became 4. Now again it is checked less than or equal to 5. That is 4 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Then what happened? It will go to print again. So 4 is printed and I++, that is I is equals to 5. Now here equal to 5. Yes. Again go to print. Again we are printing this. And now here it becomes 6. Now I value became 6. Now while I is less than or equal to 6, I mean 5. That is 6 is less than or equal to 5. No. In this condition, this will be exit and come to this part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be printed. So for the first time this will be printed, and after that only the condition is checked. In this way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is printed. So in order to make it more clear, this example over here will be very best for do while loop. This is the small project that you should try on your own by pausing this video and learn by yourself. Well done. This is the entry point of the program. Number, sum. These are the variable. Number as an integer, sum as an integer holding the 0 value. As same as for the garbage error. We have initialized this with 0. Now here you can see do. Printf, enter a positive number or 0 to stop. Now do not focus over here, right? First of all, focus over here. Enter the positive number. We are asking the positive number. Scanf %d and number. So what we are doing is, in place of number, we are asking a positive number, right? Or 0 to stop. Now come here. If the 0 is enter, we should stop. So we are just saying this. This is not the program. This is just for printing to make the user known that if you enter 0, we will stop. So we are writing the logic now. What we are doing? We are asking a positive number. We expect a positive number from the user, like 1, 2, 10, any positive number. Now sum is as initialized as 0. Sum plus equal to number. Sum plus equal to number. What does this mean? This means sum will hold the value of sum plus number, right? So this is like x is equals to x plus y. So x plus y will hold the value in x. So what is happening here? That is sum plus equal to number. Sum is 0, okay, 0, no problem, plus number. Here number, the number entered from the user, right? We are asking from the user. Let us suppose if the user input is 5, then what happened? 5 is added. Now this sum will hold the value of sum 0 plus 5. That is sum plus 5, 0 plus 5 is equals to sum is equals to 5 until this, right? So now what we are doing, while number is greater than or greater than 0. Now what we are doing? We are creating a condition that number is greater than 0. That is positive number. If the number became 0 or negative, I will not say over this, okay, you will try. What happen if negative number? Will it continue to ask to the user or it will stop? Okay, while number is greater than 0, until the number is greater than 0, that is the user input is greater than 0, we will do this block of statement or do this code. If not, if the user entered 0, then what happened? The loop will be exited and printf the total sum is %t plus sum, right? So if the user input 5, will it be printed as 5 or it will ask another number? Here we are entering the 5, then according to our logic it should ask another number because we are in the do while loop. Initially this is performed, we will get the 5, right? 5, if the user input is 5, it will again ask the number, positive number. That is, if we enter 10, that will add, that is number, sum is already 5, 5 plus 10, that is 15, right? Again it will ask. If we enter now 0, then the logic become false, and what happened? It will just terminate and 15 is printed, right? So you should try in order to see the actual flow. Here you can see in the output that I have tried, that is 12. I have entered 12, 3, 5, and finally I entered 0 and I get the answer as 32, right? So you may ask, if we enter initially 0 for the first time, the 0 will be printed. As you said, for the first time it will work, right? In the first go, the block of code will execute. So it will ask the number, we enter the 0, the total sum is 0, and it will exit. So in this way, the do while loop works. This is all about loops in C programming. This is the basic idea that I have provided to you about the loops. So if you have any confusion, please do comment down, or you can directly contact me through my Instagram or through any platform that I have provided in the channel's description. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. This is the program to find out the prime number, whether the entered value is prime number or not. Okay, let's get started. Here, include stdio.h. This is the header file. Include stdbool. This is a boolean header file. If you are using the boolean keyword, then you have to include this header file. Bool return type. We have a return type that is bool. Bool means what? Bool means either it is true or false, right? So is prime, this is the function name. Int n, this is the parameter. For now, we have just one parameter. Here, this is the entry point of the program. Whenever the is prime function is called, only after that control came over here. But here, let's see the function first. So is prime is a function. We are taking int n as or int is a variable or the parameter. Here we are checking if n is less than or equal to 1. Why? Because we are trying to find the prime number. Prime number means it is either divided by 1 or itself. So n is less than or equal to 1. Is 1 a prime number? No. And is 0 a prime number or negative value? We are not checking that. So the positive number that is greater than 1 will be only considered. So whenever the entered value is either 0 or 1, then we are simply rejecting it and telling it to return false. Okay, until now, if 0 and 1 is entered from the user, it will return false. You do not have to understand anything. Boolean format, false is written when n is less than or equal to 1. N is less than or equal to 1 means 0 or the negative values. After that, here, if the entered value is not 0 and 1, instead it is positive number, what happen is it will go to this part. This is a for loop statement. If you don't know about for loop, please check the I button over here. I will provide the link for the statement part, or you can check the description over here. Okay, so now here you can see for loop int I equals to 2. As we know, 1 is already returning the false, so it will start from 2 and n by 2. Why n by 2? Because prime numbers, right? So if the entered value is 8, 8 will be divided until 4, right? 4, 2, 4 2 is 8. So here you can see 2 is divided. Now what happened? 8 divided by 5, the value will decrease in the decimal format, right? So there is no point in checking after the value of half of the value. There is no point in checking any number. You can guess like 32. Here you can see 32 is divided by 2, that is half of it, like 16, right? So if 32 will be divided after 16, that is 17, then the value decrease again. Are you getting it? Here you can see the value 32 divided by 2, 16. Well done. But 32 divided by 16 after 17, it is 1.88. Whatever the value you enter after that, 18, it will be decimal. 19 also decimal, right? So 32 will get 1, but 30 a decimal value, a decimal value. Whatever the value we enter will all be in the decimal format. So there is no point on checking after the half of it. So we are going until half of the entered value, right? So I is less than or equal to half of it. If 16 is entered, we will only check till 8. Yes, we can check to n value, but what we are doing is we are making it sort to process fast. So we are going up to 8 because we know going to that number will not give any sense, right? So I plus plus every time we are increasing it. So n% equal to 0, then return false. Now what does this means? n% equal to 0 means it will give the reminder. If n, that is entered number 16, is divided by 2, then it will just give 8. There is no reminder. Reminder is 0. And if reminder is 0, we should return false because it is not a prime number, isn't it? But what happened if the prime number will be entered from the user? Like 17 is a prime number, as we know, right? So when 17 is entered, then what happened here? I, that is 2. If 17% 2 is equals to 0, no, because this will have some reminder and that condition is false and it will go to return true. You are getting it, right? So why we are checking until n by 2? You are clear about it? Until this loop is over, it will check for every value. If any of the value, that is like n% equal to 0, if it came, then it will directly return the false value. If it doesn't came, then it will return true. You are getting it, right? So whenever the condition is fulfilled, that is n% equals to 0, it could be in 2, it could be in 5 or anything. If it is divided, then it will return false, right? So if it is not, then it will return true value. Now let's come to the main program. Int num scanf, right? Printf enter number, scanf number. Now this is asking a user a number that will be entered from the user and it is stored inside num variable. Now what we are doing is prime. If here, this is the condition, right? If is prime num, in is prime function we are passing num variable, that is a parameter, then it will go over here. Is prime, then it will get a number. Now number, what it is returning? Either it is returning a true value or a false value, right? Or a false value. Now here it is checked if is prime num. Now if will take either true or false, right? True or false. So whenever the true value is received, then what it will do, the if part. This is like the prime number. This will print num is a prime number. And if the false is returned, like if a false is written, then it is not a prime number. So you got it, right? Whenever it is divided and have no reminder, then it will return false. If it will check to until n by 2, and if it doesn't get any such reminder is 0 or not been divided by any of the number from 2 to n by 2, then it will return true. So this is the complete logic behind the prime number. And whenever it is called, it is going to transfer the control and do its task. So this is how the prime number works in C programming. So what will be the output? You will enter one number. It will be either the prime number or not a prime number, and it will be printed. So this is all for how the function works and how the prime number is determined using C programming. We will discuss more in our next video about the function. This is all for today. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, this is the program to sort an array in an ascending order. I am Milan Humirev from We Are Engineer. Let's start this video. After watching this presentation, you will learn to sort an array in an ascending order. And to understand this example, you should have some of the knowledge about C programming chapters that are array in C programming, C if else if statement, and C for loop statement. So all the links are given down in the description, so please don't forget to check out. First of all, let's discuss about the problem. This program will implement in one-dimensional array and we will sort them in an ascending order. So if we take an array with random numbers like 45, 56 in a random order, and we will sort them in an ascending order like this: 12, 22, 34, 45 in ascending order. So how we will do that, right? So step to solve the problem. First of all, we will create an array of fixed size, that is maximum capacity, let's say 7, right? So here I made an array of 7. And I will take an n variable which store the number of elements of an array. So let us suppose n equals to 7 there, and we will iterate the loop and take an array element and print them. So to sort, we will use a nested loop, and each loop will compare with all the elements below it. What I'm trying to say is, first of all, we will check this value with all the numbers behind it, and again with the second with all the numbers behind it, and likewise. And in case the element is greater than the elements present below it, then they are interchanged. So the logic is, if this is greater, number 1 is greater than number 2, then it will exchange. Okay, so these two will be exchanged. So after executing the nested loop, we will obtain an array in an ascending order. So let's do the program. Here we will take n variable which stores the number of elements of the array. So let's write this program. Here I have written the printf into the value of n and scanf %d and n. So I took a value of n, that is how many arrays elements are there in the array. So after that, what I did is I made an array of n variable which will ask an user for the number. So I will iterate the loop to take array elements as an input. So for taking the input, I have done enter the numbers for I is equals to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus. That means if the user enter 7, then the value will be n value will be 7, and iterate to the 7 loops and ask the I as an integer and put in the array. So the array will be obtained as 45, 56 like this as the number entered by the user. So now we get the array. Now we have to sort this array in the ascending order. So initially arrays elements will be localized by the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will start with 0. So now to sort this array, I have written this program. Here I will make you clear about how the ascending order had been defined. In first here, for I is equals to 0, the 0 value is 45, and it will go after that for j loop. So I plus 1, that means j means I plus 1, that is 0 plus 1, and it will go with the 1 value of j. So that is locating at 56. And if the number I is greater than number j, that means if 45 is greater than 56, then what happened? Then the value became the false. The logic became the false. So what happened? They will remain the same. So no exchange in these certain numbers. So 45 is lesser than 56. That means 45 should be in front of 56. That is true, right? So after that, again it will go. After that, it will terminate and again go to the first value. It will be again 0 and I plus 1. Now 1 plus 1, that will be 2, right? So it will go to the next step to locate 12, right? And after that, yes, 45 is smaller, greater than 12. Yeah, it's become true, right? So after that, what happened? Here, the number will get exchanged. A is equals to number I. That means we are taking A as a temporary variable here. And temporary variable will store number I, that means 45, right? So A is equals to 45. And here, number I is equals to number j. So number I means it's 45 holding this one, right? This is the space where the 45 was hold. Now that will be replaced by number j, that means 12. Now 45 will come at behind and 12 will go at 45, right? So now this value, this space will get 12. So number j is equals to A. That means here it will store the 45 value. So these values get interchanged, right? So our next array become 12, 56 and 45, right? So like this, third iteration will also implement. So the same code I have copied here, and here we get this array. Now it will again locate I is equals to 0, that is 12, and it will go with 34 now because the j value is continuously increasing here. And it will go up to the n value, right? If the n is around 7, then it will continue looping in 7 iteration. Okay, so here in the 34 it will check again, it's false, and again the same array had been formed. And likewise in the next loop, what happens after the j completion? It will be I will be 1, again 56 will be located, and after that it will check all the numbers behind it as same before. Now it will locate to 45, and if that is true, they will be exchanged, right? And the next loop and the next array become 12, 45, 56. So like this, every elements will check its back element and exchange if that is greater. So this is the complete logic of sorting an array. So after that, 45 will go to 34, and if that is true, then finally we get the ascending order array elements like this. And we will print them simple array printing method, printf arranged, and I is equals to 0, I is lesser n, and like this number I, we will print number I and we will get the answer printed. So let's program and see the output. All the other things are same as usual we did in array. So I have declared an array and I have asked the number of elements from the user, and I have asked the element as well. So after that I have made a loop, 2 loops, one for the elements and for the back elements. Then I have swapped the value and simply print the ascending order as usual. So let's execute the program here. So here you can see it is asking me the number of elements, so I will enter the number of elements. So I will enter 7. So after that it is asking me the elements, so I will enter some of the elements. So here we go. Let's see either it will be sorted or not. So you can see 2 is the smallest number here, 34, 34, 56, 67, 97 and 98. So we get the answer. So if you like this presentation, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thank you.
Today we will see how to write a program to check whether the number is palindrome or not. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe and check out the playlist. It is compulsory. Okay, so before you jump into the questions, you should have some of the knowledge about C topics that are like C programming operators, C programming if statement loop, and C programming while and do while loop. So if you haven't watched that video, the videos links are given in the description, so don't forget to check out down, right? So let's get down to the logics, how the programs execute. Okay, so palindrome number executions occurs in this manner. So first of all, we will ask to the user to give a number, that is an integer. So after that, we will assign that number into another variable so that the value given by the user should not be altered in the whole program, because we have to check it at the last, right? So we will store it safely in another place, in another variable, right? So after that, we will reverse the number that is entered by the user, isn't it? So we will reverse that number and we will compare it with the stored number, and we will check it finally with the original number, and we will get the answer. Now let's take the input from the user. To start the program, we will write the preprocessor main function, and we will declare some of the variable that we will use in the program. And after that, printf will print to enter the number to check the palindrome, and after that scanf will ask the user to input the integer value. Okay, after that we have to reverse the number stored in the variable, right? So let us suppose the user input the number n is equals to 44, 33 and 44. Now we will reverse this number and we get the reversed number be 443344. So this is the palindrome, and in another case we take non-palindrome number as well. So this reverse become like this, and this is a palindrome while this is not a palindrome. So in this case, what is the main logics to understand the palindrome, or how can we find or reverse the number? So first of all, you should know that remainder is equals to n%10. What does n%10 do? So n%10 will give the remainder. Remainder means when we divide this number with 10, then the remainder will be simply the 4, right? Because we are dividing through 10. So this value will get localized, right? So let's go. Here you can see 443344 %10 means the 4. The number of the last digit will get stored, and after that we will initialize a reverse variable to be 0. Why we are initializing this reverse to be a 0? Because now here you can see when we apply this, reverse is equals to reverse times 10 plus remainder. Now what happens when the number entered by the user n%10 is done? Then what happens? The value 4 comes at the place of reminder. So here the value at first loop becomes 4, right? So if we made 0 here, and we will make the same variable to be changed in every loop. So here you can see 0 is equals to 0 into 10 plus 4. That means we get reversed value to be 4. And in another conditions, what we need is another 4, right? So we have to delete this 4 at this condition. So we have to remove this 4. Then how do we remove that 4? In that case, if we divide this value by 10, then it will leave the remainder and the before part will be executed, isn't it? So if we do n divide by 10, then that means what happens? 44334 will be stored in the n value. So this means 44344. Now this 4 will be cancelled out, and the value becomes 44334, right? So we will repeat this loop in every condition. Okay, back to the program. You can see here I have stored the entered value in the temporary variable named as original, and I have completed the while loop here. So after that, what we have to do is we have to compare the number that is entered by the user with the reverse number. And we have stored that number in the original number variable, so we will check with reverse number here. So if the condition comes true, then that will be the palindrome, and if the condition is false, then that is not a palindrome. So here we have to write a if statement loop also. So if that is true, palindrome, if not palindrome, right? So we print the answer right now. So now I will execute the program. So to execute, I will click in execute and compile and run, and I will save this program here. So one thing I should make you clear that don't afraid of box, because box will help you to increase your programming skills, right? So let's execute the program again, and we can see the result here. Enter the number to check palindrome. I will enter 343, which is the palindrome number. Yes, of course. So our program has been completed, right? So one non-palindrome number also. So here we go and enter something random number here, and we can see here this is not a palindrome number. This is how we check the palindrome number. Thank you for watching. Have a great time. Subscribe. Hello everyone. Today in this video we are learning about function in C programming. I'm instructor Milan Ghimire. After watching this presentation, you will learn about functions in C programming. To access the full playlist of C programming, the link is given down in the description. So what is function? It is a basic building block of a C program. A set of statement enclosed within a curly brackets that takes input, do the computation and provide the resultant output. Here you can see, take the input, right? Take the input, do the computation and provide the output. So it is behaving like a machine that will take input, do it task, process it and return the value or return the output. This is the syntax. Here you can see the return type. The return type may be either integer, boolean or double or any other return type. The function name, it is up to you. Whatever the function name you want to put, you can. And the parameter list. So parameter list are those parameter or those input that we want to give to the function. Here you can see the int. This is a return type. Add is the function name and these are the input that we want to give as a parameter. Int a and int b. So integer a and b is passed. Now what we want to do from the function, as we have said, take input a and b is already an input, do its computation, right? Do the computation like it is a plus b. Okay, and what we want to do, we want to return it, return a plus b, and here you can see the value is returned and we are done with the function. So this is the complete function. What it is doing is it is helping to organize the code, improve the readability and reduce redundancy. We will be more clear when we see the actual implementation of the function. So let's go. What is the reason behind using function? The first is to improve code reusability. So this is one of the very most important factor or the reason behind using the function. Here you can see this is a small snippet of the code that will make you understand how the code is being reused. Here you can see the integer. This is a return type. Add, it is the function name. Int a, this is a parameter. Int b is also another parameter. We are passing two parameter over here. So we are returning a plus b. As you know, the return type is integer. We don't know what the value of a and b, but we are returning a plus b. So whatever the input is passed over this function over here and here, it will return the values sum. So whenever it is called, here you can see add function is called and passing the parameter as 5 and 3. You can see this function is called passing the parameter 5 and 3. Now what happened? It will sort the function with this name and it will get this add int a int b. And what happened? The 5 and 3 will be assigned in this value and the return will be 5 plus 3, that is 8. Then it had a return type, that is integer, and the value is stored in sum1. Now what happened? The sum1 will store a plus b, that is 8. 5 plus 3, 5 plus 3, that is 8. And again we can initialize any other variable, that is sum2, and we are passing different parameter 10 and 20. Now what happened? It will again search the same function, that is add, it will get, and the parameter will be passed over this input, that is a and b, 10 and 20. Then it will return 10 plus 20, that is 30. Now sum 2 will get 30. With the same set of code, with the same block of code, what we are getting is we are getting the different value. So that what happened? We don't have to write this code repeatedly. We can just pass the value and get the answer as we want. So this is how the code reusability is done by using the function. Now modularity. Here you can see the program can be divided into different models like input data, process data, display data. Here this is processing the data. This is a different module that will work on like process the data in one function. We can take the input from the user in another function, creating another function like input data scanf %d, yeah, like that, and display result printf. We can make a different program for different module. So it will help the chunks of code and combine that and make a complete program. So integrating these modules will make a complete program. It will also improve the readability, because reading this program is way too easier than not using the function. Ease of maintenance. If any error is occurred, then we can easily maintain. Collaboration, of course. Reduce the complexity. Encapsulation. How encapsulation works? The value and the operations is under the same function, so that the encapsulations occur. This is the concept of OOP, but by using the function, it also justifies encapsulation. Facilitates testing, of course. So whenever the error is encountered, it is way too easy to test from which function the error is encountered. Reduce error, of course. Now let's see the program without function, and we will see the program with function as well. Here you can see we are not using any function and how the programs look like. Like here we have initialize I equal to 5 and b equal to 3. So this is quite easy, right? We are directly assigning the value, that is a equal to 5 and b equals to 3. And we are obtaining the result, that is a plus b, 5 plus 3, and storing it in the result variable. In this variable, until now we have result is equals to 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. And we are printing the result, %d result. The 8 is printed. And again, a equals to 10, b equals to 20, and result will store a plus b, and printf result, that is %d, that is 30. So what we are doing? We are not using the program. So the same set of code here you can see have to be repeatedly mentioned in our program. So different value is used over here. But what happens if we use the function? As we know, we create one add function and we have passed two parameter over here. We have returned as x plus y in an integer format. So x plus y, whatever the value is passed when it is called, like add is called over here, 5 plus 3, it will return 8. So integer value %d, then here 8 is printed. And here again printf sum is %d add 10 20. So 10 and 20 is passed, and x plus y, that is 30, and 30 is printed %d, because add will return the x plus y, that is 8 and 30. This is how easy working with the function. Now let us go to a bit higher to understand how actually the flow of a function works. This is the program to find out the prime number, whether the entered value is prime number or not. Okay, let's get started. Here include stdio.h, this is the header file. Include stdbool, this is a boolean header file. If you are using the boolean keyword, then you have to include this header file. Bool return type, we have a return type, that is bool. Bool means what? Bool means either it is true or false, right? So is prime, this is the function name. Int n, this is the parameter. For now we have just one parameter. Here this is the entry point of the program. Whenever the is prime function is called, only after that control came over here. But here let's see the function first. So is prime is a function. We are taking int n as an integer variable or the parameter. Here we are checking if n is less than or equal to 1. Why? Because we are trying to find the prime number. Prime number means it is either divided by 1 or itself. So n is less than or equal to 1. Is 1 a prime number? No. And is 0 a prime number or negative value? We are not taking that. So the positive number that is greater than 1 will be only considered. So whenever the entered value is either 0 or 1, then we are simply rejecting it and telling it to return false. Okay, until now if 0 and 1 is entered from the user, it will return false. You do not have to understand anything. Boolean format, false is returned when n is less than or equal to 1. N is less than or equal to 1 means 0 or the negative values. After that, here, if the entered value is not 0 and 1, instead it is positive number, what happen is it will go to this part. This is a for loop statement. If you don't know about for loop, please check the I button over here. I will provide the link for the statement part, or you can check the description over here. Okay, so now here you can see for loop int I equals to 2. As we know, 1 is already returning the false, so it will start from 2 and n by 2. Why n by 2? Because prime numbers, right? So if the entered value is 8, 8 will be divided until 4, right? 4, 2, 4 2 is 8. So here you can see 2 is divided. Now what happened? 8 divided by 5, the value will decrease in the decimal format, right? So there is no point in checking after the value of half of the value. There is no point in checking any number. You can guess like 32. Here you can see 32 is divided by 2, that is half of it, like 16, right? So if 32 will be divided after 16, that is 17, then the value decrease again. Are you getting it? Here you can see the value 32 divided by 2, 16. Well done. But 32 divided by 16 after 17, it is 1.88. Whatever the value you enter after that, 18, it will be decimal. 19 also decimal, right? So 32 will get 1, but 30 a decimal value, a decimal value. Whatever the value we enter will all be in the decimal format. So there is no point on checking after the half of it. So we are going until half of the entered value, right? So I is less than or equal to half of it. If 16 is entered, we will only check till 8. Yes, we can check to n value, but what we are doing is we are making it sort to process fast. So we are going up to 8 because we know going to that number will not give any sense, right? So I plus plus every time we are increasing it. So n%i equal to 0, then return false. Now what does this means? n%i equal to 0 means it will give the remainder. If n, that is entered number 16, is divided by 2, then it will just give 8. There is no remainder. Remainder is 0. And if remainder is 0, we should return false because it is not a prime number, isn't it? But what happened if the prime number will be entered from the user? Like 17 is a prime number, as we know, right? So when 17 is entered, then what happened here? I, that is 2. If 17% 2 is equals to 0, no, because this will have some remainder and that condition is false and it will go to return true. You are getting it, right? So why we are checking until n by 2? You are clear about it? Until this loop is over, it will check for every value. If any of the value, that is like n%i equal to 0, if it came, then it will directly return the false value. If it doesn't came, then it will return true. You are getting it, right? So whenever the condition is fulfilled, that is n%i equals to 0, it could be in 2, it could be in 5 or anything. If it is divided, then it will return false, right? So if it is not, then it will return true value. Now let's come to the main program. Int num scanf, right? Printf enter number, scanf number. Now this is asking a user a number that will be entered from the user and it is stored inside num variable. Now what we are doing is prime. If here, this is the condition, right? If is prime num, in is prime function we are passing num variable, that is a parameter. Then it will go over here, is prime, then it will get a number. Now number, what it is returning? Either it is returning a true value or a false value, right? Or a false value. Now here it is checked if is prime num. Now if will take either true or false, right? True or false. So whenever the true value is received, then what it will do? The if part. This is like the prime number. This will print num is a prime number. And if the false is returned, like if a false is written, then it is not a prime number. So you got it, right? Whenever it is divided and have no remainder, then it will return false. If it will check to until n by 2, and if it doesn't get any such remainder is 0 or not been divided by any of the number from 2 to n by 2, then it will return true. So this is the complete logic behind the prime number, and whenever it is called, it is going to transfer the control and do its task. So this is how the prime number works in C programming. So what will be the output? You will enter one number, it will be either the prime number or not a prime number, and it will be printed. So this is all for how the function works and how the prime number is determined using C programming. We will discuss more in our next video about the function. This is all for today. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe.
So hello everyone. Today we will learn C++ program to understand function overriding. So if you are new to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe our YouTube channel. I'm instructor Milan Gimire. So let's get started. After watching this presentation, you will learn to override the function in the classes. So to understand this example, you should have the knowledge of following C++ programming topics, that are classes and objects, inheritance, and function overloading. Why I am focusing in function overloading is when we know about function overloading, then it will be very easy to learn about overriding. So if you don't already have watched these presentations or videos, then I will give the link down in the description. You can check it out there. So now let's discuss about the problem. So as we know, inheritance is a feature of OOP, that is object oriented programming, that allows us to create a derived class from the base class. That means the derived classes inherit the feature of the base class. That means we will able to use the features that are available in the base class to the derived class or to the class that we have made as a child class. Okay, here we can see base class and the derived class. So this is actually the inheritance concept. So if you haven't watched this video, then I will give the link down in the description or in the I button. You can check it out there. So here function overriding. Suppose the same function is defined in the both derived class and the base class. Let's say add function. Okay. So here we can see this is the base class, right? And we have defined the function as a add name. Okay. So we have defined the add function, which will add 3 plus 4 or any argument that we will pass from the object, and we created a derived class and we inherit the feature of base class, and we are again making the same name add. Okay, here you can see add in both, and we are adding 3 plus 4 and again adding 3, right? So a plus b, right? We are doing another things on this same function, and we made the object of derived class and we call the add. Now this is actually the program of overriding. In the child class and in the base class there is the same name. Okay, and when we call that name, then which will be called. So when we call add function here, in overloading concept, it will look for the parameter, number of arguments, pass over their types. But in this condition overriding, it will not call this function. Instead of calling this, it will call to this one, and we will get what inside it, and finally we'll get the output. So now let's go. So if we call this function using the object of the derived class, then the function of the derived class will be executed, as I have just now cleared about it. Okay, now let's see the program. Here I made the base class, right? So this is the base class, and I made two variables. So in these two variable, now I will put the value. So in the public section or public access file, I have made the function to get the data, to get the data input by the user, or we can pass directly as an object, right? So here I will receive two integer value x and y, and I have assigned that x and y value to a and b, right? And after that we made the void sum. Now this is the function. Okay, we made the sum function and we are printing a plus b. That means we are printing x plus y. Okay, whatever the value come in x
and y we will add and print. Okay, so this is the base class actually. Now what we made is we made the base class and we have defined the function. Now we have to make the derived class, isn't it? So we make the derived class which will have the feature of base class. That means we can use that values of x and y or a and b to the derived class. Now we made in the public section we made void sum, again the same name function as we have taken in the base class. Now we want to add a plus b and we will add a again to make it a little different, look little different, and operations will be also different. So to be clear which function is called, we made it different. Okay, so now we will made another things. So now what we have did is we have made the base class, we have made the derived class, and we have inherit the feature of base class. And now and same member functions is made with different operations, right? And after that we are creating an object, right? We are creating an object of derived class. Okay, in the inheritance concept we will always make the object of derived class as we know. And here from the object we are passing 3 and 4. These are the value to x and y and a and b, right? And after that object dot sum. Now what I have said, now it will call from the derived class, that means a plus b. Now this will be called and we will finally get the answer. Now what we did is we made the derived class object and call add. Now finally we get the output from the function of derived class, isn't it? So we get a plus b plus c. I'm sorry, this will be a. Okay, this will be a, and we will get 3 plus 3 plus 4 or 3 plus 4 plus 3, the same thing. And finally we will get our answer printed as 10. So we will write this program in the compiler and compile this.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are learning about recursive function to print Fibonacci series. So it's a beginner friendly guide, so you can watch this video without referring any videos. First of all, let us be clear about what is Fibonacci series. A sequence where each number is the sum of the two preceding ones. It will start with some finite numbers, that is 0 and 1, and for example here you can see 0 1 1 2 3 5 8 and 13, and like this is a Fibonacci series. Now look at this number and find out some formulas. Like what I have said is the sum of two preceding ones, right? So 1 2, so these two sum, that is 0 plus 1, will give the next value, that is 1. And after that this 1 and this 1, now these two, the sum of 1 plus 1 will give another value, that is 2. Yeah, so again the sum of these is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, and likewise 13 plus 8 21, and it goes like this. So the formula became fn is equals to fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2. For example, if we consider this 3 number, right, by sitting in 1 we can find out this formula. This is n minus 1, this 1 is n for now, this is n minus 1, and this is n minus 2. So fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2, n minus 1 plus n minus 2, these two sum will give the value of fn, that is 1. So this is the formula. Every time we should know that it will start with 0 and 1, so that we will get the sequence like this. So now what is recursion? We know about Fibonacci. Now what do you mean by recursion?
okay, a function calling itself. This is called recursion. The function will call itself, okay, solving the problem by breaking them into a smaller sub-problems. For example, let us suppose this is one function, factorial. You know about factorial? That is 2 factorial, then 2 into 1, right? 5 factorial, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is the 5 factorial, right? So like this, for example, this is the function. Here, if we start with n equals to 0, then return 1. Every time if we get the value of n is 0, then we will return only 1. So this is the base case. In recursion value, there will be one base case and another will be a recursion case. So in the base case, we should know if some values came, then default return value will be there. But when some values in a recursive case came, here you can see return n into factorial n minus 1. You may not know how this exactly work. For example, you can see here the factorial is the function and the factorial is the function itself. Now look at this. When I print 5 factorial, that means every time what I'm doing is subtracting 1 from the previous value, right? And I am doing the multiplication with the previous value. That means when I use 5 times 4, that is 5 times 5 minus 1, and after that what I'm doing is 4 minus 1, that is 3 times the multiplied value, again decreasing 1 and the multiplied value. So this is the actual exact representation of that. What we are doing is we are calling the factorial itself. If it reaches to the base class, it will return 1. Else what is doing is we decreasing the 1 value every loop, that is it is calling itself. So whenever the control come over here, it will return to this place again and check this condition and return again this. And what we can get is until it comes to 1, that is n equals to 0, then we will return the base case and we will find out the value. This is the function. In the main function, we will print these values. Okay, so we are getting recursion means what. Now let's discuss about key takeaway. Okay, recursion makes the implementation very simple. Demonstrate self-calling. As we know, instead of for loop, we can use this small code. So this is way easier. Recursion makes the implementation simple. Demonstrate self-calling function. Some challenges: insufficient for large n. So when large n values came, then it will start showing some difficulties because this is good for only some repeated calls. It can be optimized with iteration, yeah. So when we use iteration, it can be optimized. For example, okay, here you can see we define the header file. After that, nth Fibonacci. So this is the function, and we define one integer value. If n is less than 1 or equal to 1, then we will return the n, okay, which is just like if this person is giving -1 or is giving 1, entering the 1 Fibonacci, then we will return the entered value. Okay, else what we will do, we will use that formula. Look at here, calling the same Fibonacci function n-1 and n-2. So now here let us discuss how we have implemented that. Main function, as you know. After that, int n, print enter the number up to which I want the Fibonacci to print out. Okay, so scanf will ask the number, printf will just print the number. that had entered, right? And here you can see the for loop has started. We can use for loop to print the Fibonacci using a recursion. So this is how we are doing. Here you can see I we started until I value is less than n, that is the entered value. For example, if I say 10, right, the I value is 10, then what happened? It will iterate up to 9, that is 0 to 9, that means 10 times it will iterate, right? So int current, this is curr means a variable. Here it will pass the value one by one from I. So whenever the 0 came, it will go I value current nth Fibonacci, that will call the function this nth Fibonacci. The I value will be 0. Now 0, it will return 1. Now the 1 is printed, right? After that, you can remove this. This is not the code actually. Okay, so after that what happened? The I value again increase. It will 1. Okay, and here the value became 1 and it will pass to this function 1, and 1 equal to 1, it will return the 1. So first value is always 0 and 1, as we know, right? So after that what happened? When it became 2, the value here 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 1? No. Now it will return the value, that is Fibonacci n minus 1, that is 2 minus 1 1 and 2 minus 2 0. So what happened? The Fibonacci execute and the value will be 1 again. So it will return 1. And in third position, what happened? It will increase again 3. It will pass 3 over here. The statement became false, and this here 3 minus 1, that is 2, and nth Fibonacci, that is 2 minus 2 is 3 minus 2 is 1. So again what happened is Fibonacci value here, in place of n minus 1, it becomes 3 minus 1, that is 2. So again what happened is it will pass the 2 value over here and again do the sum. So like that, it every time what happened, it's update the value, send to the function, and again bring out the value and sum with it. So this is how we exactly do the Fibonacci. If you understand, this is really very amazing. And if you didn't, I will make another video with a proper explanation as your wish. So do comment what is the confusion over here. So I will run this program. Error is a false error, yeah. So here we go, enter the number, let us print 12 Fibonacci number. And here you can see 1 plus 2, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. These are 12 numbers that had printed. So this is how you do the Fibonacci series using a recursion. So thank you for watching. Have a nice time.
आज हामी यो भिडियोमा म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन सिक्नेछौँ सी प्रोग्रामिङ मेथडबाट, राइट? सो यदि तपाईले मेरो च्यानलमा नयाँ हुनुहुन्छ भने प्लिज च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु होला। डिस्क्रिप्सनमा प्लेलिस्ट छ, प्लेलिस्ट पनि चेक गर्नु होला, बिकज मैले सी रिलेटेड भिडियोजहरू प्लेलिस्टमा थुप्रै अपलोड गर्ने गर्छु। र यो भिडियो हेर्नुभन्दा तपाईले पहिल्यै एरे सम्बन्धी केही जानेको हुनुपर्छ। सो एरेको भिडियो म माथि आई बटनमा पनि दिनेछु र तल डिस्क्रिप्सनमा पनि दिनेछु, सो चेक आउट देयर। र आजको म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन 2 डाइमेन्सनल एरेबाट कसरी गर्ने भन्ने कुरा हेरौँ। सो लेट्स डाइभ इन्टु द क्वेसन। सो मानौ म्याट्रिक्स ए र म्याट्रिक्स बीलाई हामीले मल्टिप्लाई गर्नु छ र त्यसको रिजल्टेन्ट हामीले क्याल्कुलेट गर्नुपर्ने छ। सो यो प्रोसेस चाहिँ हामीले केबाट गर्नुपर्ने छ? सी प्रोग्रामिङ मेथडबाट गर्नुपर्ने छ। सो लेट्स डु दिस। र यो ए र बी पनि हामीले युजरबाट लिन्छौँ। सो स्टेप्सहरू के हो त यसलाई सल्भ गर्ने? सो फर्स्ट स्टेप इज टु टेक द इनपुट फ्रम द युजर। युजरबाट हामीले के गर्नु पर्यो? इनपुट लिनु पर्यो। के भन्दा रोज र कलम्स कति छ त भन्ने कुरा हामीले युजरबाट लिनु पर्यो। सो मानौ म्याट्रिक्स ए छ यहाँ। अब यो म्याट्रिक्समा कतिवटा रोज छ, द्याट इज रोज इज 3 हियर, र कतिवटा कलम्स छ, यो हामीले युजरबाट लिनुपर्छ। सो लेट्स टेक द इनपुट फ्रम द युजर। त्यति गर्नको लागि के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दा हामी डेप्सी प्लस प्लसमा जान्छौँ।
अथवा तपाईले कोड ब्लक्स युज गर्दा पनि भइहाल्यो। सो अब यहाँ सुरुमा हेरौँ, इन्क्लुड stdio.h भनेको यो हाम्रो हेडर फाइल भयो, इन्ट मेन भनेको मेन फङ्सन भयो, र मैले यहाँ सर्टेन भेरिएबल्सहरू राखेको छु। जस्तो कि अब यहाँ हामीलाई चाहिएको छ के भन्दा नम्बर अफ रोज र नम्बर अफ कलम्स म्याट्रिक्स ए को लागि। सो मैले यहाँ भेरिएबल पनि के लेखिदिएँ भन्दा सजिलोको लागि ए रोज लेखिदिएँ र ए कलम्स लेखिदिएँ, रोज र कलम्स आइडेन्टिफाई गर्नको लागि अथवा स्टोर गर्नको लागि लेट्स से। र अब प्रिन्ट एफमा मैले के भनिदिएँ भन्दा इन्टर द नम्बर अफ रोज एन्ड कलम्स भनिदिएँ अफ म्याट्रिक्स ए भनिसके पछाडि अब के गर्छ, स्क्यान एफले के गर्छ, %d यहाँ देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ %d यो दुईवटा इन्टिजर्स भ्यालुलाई होल्ड गर्छ। ए रोजमा गएर अब जस्तो कि 3 × 3 गर्न खोज्यो भने ए रोजमा गएर 3, ए कलम्समा गएर 3 बस भन्यो, राइट। सो यसरी चाहिँ हामीले सुरुमा चाहिँ म्याट्रिक्सको फर्म चाहिँ के गर्नुपर्छ, युजरबाट इनपुट गर्नुपर्छ अथवा युजरबाट लिनुपर्छ। ओके, आफ्टर द्याट हामीलाई के चाहियो, एलिमेन्ट्सहरू चाहियो त्यो म्याट्रिक्समा। ओके, सपोज हामी मानौँ कि युजरले 3 × 3 म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लाई गर्न चाहन्छ। सो अब म्याट्रिक्स एमा चाहिँ हामीले 3 × 3 भ्याल्यु बराबरको के गर्नु पऱ्यो, एलिमेन्ट्सहरू लिनु पऱ्यो, राइट। सो लेट अस सपोज म्याट्रिक्स ए चाहिँ यस्तो छ जुनमा एलिमेन्ट्सहरू थुप्रै छ। यसको लागि हामीले सुरुमा के जान्नुपर्ने हुन्छ भन्दा सम अफ द पोजिसन्स के हो त भन्दा म्याट्रिक्समा अलवेज अथवा एरेजमा अलवेज इनिसियलाइज 0बाट स्टार्ट हुन्छ, पोजिसन पनि त्यस्तै हुन्छ र 0 1 2 हुने भयो। अब यो 0 र 0ले के हुन्छ, यो भ्यालुलाई लिन्छ अथवा असाइन गर्छ। यो 0 0 पोजिसनमा 1 चाहिँ बसेको हुन्छ र 0 1 पोजिसनमा एनदर 1 बसेको हुन्छ, राइट। र 0 र 2 पोजिसनमा के हुन्छ, 2 भ्याल्यु स्टोर भएको हुन्छ। र यसरी चाहिँ हामीले पोजिसन्सको बारेमा थाहा पाउनुपर्छ। सो अब यो पोजिसनमा कसरी असाइन गर्ने त, राइट। सो हाउ टु असाइन द एलिमेन्ट्स इन्टर्ड बाई द युजर्स। सो अब त्यसको लागि पनि हामीलाई के चाहिन्छ, वी निड द फर लुप स्टेटमेन्ट्स। र फर लुप स्टेटमेन्ट पनि हामीलाई एउटा मात्र नभएर दुईवटा चाहिन्छ, बिकज एउटा रोजको लागि र एउटा कलम्सको लागि हामीले लिनुपर्छ। सो मानौँ आई फर रोज र जे फर कलम्स। सो यही प्रोसेस चाहिँ हामीले फेरि के गरिदिन्छौँ, रिपिट गरिदिन्छौँ के को लागि, अर्को म्याट्रिक्स मतलब म्याट्रिक्स ए लिइसके पछाडि म्याट्रिक्स बीलाई पनि हामी त्यही प्रोसेस रिपिट गरिदिन्छौँ र त्यसरी चाहिँ हामीले दुईवटा म्याट्रिक्सको इनपुट चाहिँ लिन सक्छौँ, एलिमेन्ट्सहरू। ओके, त्यसको लागि हामीले के गरिदिन्छौँ, सुरुमा भन्दा प्रिन्ट इन्टर द एलिमेन्ट्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स ए भनेर हामीले यो प्रिन्ट गर्छौँ, जसले गर्दाखेरि युजरले अब के गर्नु पऱ्यो भन्दा एलिमेन्ट्सहरू इन्टर गर्नु पऱ्यो म्याट्रिक्स ए को लागि, राइट। सो त्यसको लागि हामीले फर लुप स्टेटमेन्ट्स युज गर्छौँ। सो सुरुमा चाहिँ आईको लुप हुन्छ, त्यो भनेको रोजको लागि आईलाई सुरुमा इनिसियलाइज गर्छौँ 0मा र आई विल अलवेज लेस देन ए रोज। किन भन्दा अब जस्तो कि युजरले 3 × 3 म्याट्रिक्स हान्छ भने ए रोजमा 3 छ, राइट। सो 3 भन्दा कम हुनुपर्छ, किन भन्दा 0बाट इनिसियलाइज गरेका छौँ, 0 1 2 भनेको 3 वटा। र त्यस पछाडि के गर्नु पऱ्यो, आई चाहिँ लेस भइन्जेलसम्म जान्छ र त्यस पछाडि के हुन्छ, स्टप हुन्छ आईको काम। र आई प्लस प्लसले के गरिदिन्छ, आईको भ्यालु इन्क्रिमेन्ट गराइदिन्छ प्रत्येक लुपमा, राइट। सो अब त्यस पछाडि हामीले यो त रोजलाई लियौँ, राइट। सो आईको भ्यालु अब के भयो, 0 भयो फर्स्टमा। अब त्यस पछाडि हामी केमा जान्छौँ, जे लुपमा जान्छौँ। सो जेमा चाहिँ के गर्छौँ, कलम्स लिन्छौँ। सुरुमा ए म्याट्रिक्सको रोज लिएथ्यौँ, अब कलम्स लिन्छौँ, यो पनि त्यही नै हो। र जे प्लस प्लसले इन्क्रिमेन्ट गराइदिन्छ। अब सुरुमा अब के भयो, फर्स्ट लुपमा आईको भ्यालु 0, जेको भ्यालु 0। द्याट मिन्स अब स्क्यान एफले के गर्छ, %d मतलब इन्टिजर मार्क्स छ युजरबाट, सरी, र %a आइजे हो, आईको भ्यालु चाहिँ 0 छ, जेको भ्यालु अब के छ, 0 छ। सो अब मैले माथि एरे चाहिँ एउटा डिफिनेट साइज दिएको छु जसको म्याक्सिमाइज भ्यालु चाहिँ 50 छ, राइट। अब यसमा आइसके पछाडि के हुन्छ, आईको भ्यालु 0 र जेको भ्यालु 0 0 स्टोर हुन्छ र ए पोजिसनमा 0 0 पोजिसन चाहिँ के हुन्छ, स्टोर हुन्छ। जस्तो कि आईको र जेको भ्यालु अब फर्स्ट लुपमा 0 0 भयो भनेपछि अब यो प्लेसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ, भ्याल्यु बस्छ। सुरुमा इन्टर गरेको भ्याल्यु चाहिँ 0 0 पोजिसनमा बस्छ, जस्तो कि हामीले प्रिभियस स्लाइडमा देखिसकेको छौँ पोजिसन। र अब सेकेन्ड लुपमा के हुन्छ, जेको भ्यालु इन्क्रिमेन्ट हुन्छ, बिकज यहाँ प्लस प्लस छ, राइट। सो जेको भ्यालु 1 भयो, आईको भ्यालु अलरेडी 0 छ। अब के हुने भयो, आईको भ्यालु 0 a 0 र 1 पोजिसनमा गएर अब के हुने भयो, 0 1 पोजिसनमा अब नेक्स्ट भ्याल्यु जब इन्टर गर्छ युजरले त्यो गएर स्टोर हुने भयो। जस्तो कि तपाईँले यो स्लाइड्समा देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ, सुरुमा 0 0 मा 1 थियो, अब 0 र 1 पोजिसन तपाईँले यहाँ देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ, 0 र 1 पोजिसनमा अब के हुने भयो, 1 स्टोर हुने भयो। र अब 0 र 2 पोजिसनमा फेरि के हुने भयो, 2 स्टोर हुने भयो, राइट। र सुरुमा चाहिँ हाम्रो के हुने रहेछ, रोजलाई चाहिँ हामीले इन्टर गराउनु पर्ने रहेछ युजरले, राइट। सो त्यस पछाडि अनि सेकेन्ड रो र थर्ड रो त्यसरी चाहिँ कन्टिन्यू हुन्छ प्रोसेस। सो यसरी चाहिँ हामीले के गर्न सक्यौँ, एलिमेन्ट्सहरू लिन सक्यौँ युजरबाट।
र अब त्यस पछाडि त्यसको काम सकिन्छ राइट। र त्यस पछाडि पनि हामी म्याट्रिक्स बीको लागि पनि सेम प्रोसेस गर्छौँ एलाई गरे जस्तै। सुरुमा हामी नम्बर अफ रोज र कलम्स म्याट्रिक्स बीको लागि पनि लिन्छौँ र %d ले दुईवटा भ्यालु लियौँ एज युजल, बी रो र बी कलम्समा लगेर त्यो भ्यालुलाई स्टोर गरिदियौँ। अब यहाँनिर चाहिँ अलिकति लोजिक के छ भन्दा म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्नको लागि ए रोज र बी कलम्स सधैँ इक्वल हुनुपर्छ राइट। सो यदि इक्वल भएन भने राइट, ए रोज इज नट इक्वल टु बी कलम्स भयो भने के हुन्छ भन्दा प्रिन्ट एफ सरी वी क्यान डु द म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन भनेर प्रिन्ट गर्दै एल्स के गर, अब सेम प्रोसेस गर के को लागि, बी म्याट्रिक्सको एलिमेन्ट्स लिनको लागि राइट। सो एल्स प्रोग्राम चाहिँ अब यहाँनिर अलिकति इम्पोर्टेन्ट, सेम प्रोसेस हुने भयो। म्याट्रिक्स ए को जसरी हामीले एलिमेन्ट्स लिएको थियौँ सेम प्रोसेस भइहाल्यो। यहाँ प्रिन्ट एफ इन्टर द एलिमेन्ट्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स बी भने, अनि त्यस पछाडि यहाँ के भयो, फर लुप भयो। फर लुप के को, आई र जे को दुईवटा, र सेम प्रोसेस हो यो, मात्र बी भेरिएबल चेन्ज हुन्छ, आई जे को भ्यालु त्यही हुन्छ, र बी रो बी कलम्स चेन्ज हुन्छ। अब हामीले एलिमेन्ट्स पनि लियौँ। अब यस पछाडि के गर्नु पऱ्यो भन्दा एक्चुअल म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्नु पऱ्यो। जस्तो कि म्याट्रिक्स ए छ हामीसँग राइट, सो म्याट्रिक्स बी पनि छ, यसरी युजरले दियो। अब यो दुईवटा म्याट्रिक्सलाई हामीले के गर्नु पऱ्यो, मल्टिप्लाई गर्नु पऱ्यो। र प्रोसेस के हो त, यसको रो र यसको कलम्स, यानि कि ए म्याट्रिक्सको रोको फर्स्ट एलिमेन्टले बी म्याट्रिक्सको कलमको फर्स्ट एलिमेन्टलाई मल्टिप्लाई गर्छ, प्लस के हुने भयो, अब यो पछाडि अब नेक्स्ट सेकेन्ड एलिमेन्टमा आउने भयो। र यो वानले चाहिँ केलाई टार्गेट गर्नु पऱ्यो, 3, द्याट इज बी म्याट्रिक्सको फर्स्ट कलमको सेकेन्ड एलिमेन्टलाई के गर्नु पऱ्यो, मल्टिप्लाई गर्नु पऱ्यो र प्लस गर्नु पऱ्यो फेरि राइट। सो अब थर्ड एलिमेन्टमा जाने भयो, म्याट्रिक्स ए को अब थर्ड एलिमेन्टले के गर्ने भयो, म्याट्रिक्स बी को कलमको लास्ट एलिमेन्ट। अब यसरी चाहिँ प्लस भएपछि र यो भ्यालु चाहिँ फर्स्ट पोजिसनमा गएर के गर्नु पऱ्यो, स्टोर गर्नु पऱ्यो। र सेम प्रोसेसमा के हुन्छ, हाम्रो म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन हुन्छ। जस्तो कि अब फर्स्ट रो म्याट्रिक्स ए को फर्स्ट रोले फेरि अब सबै कलम्सलाई यसरी गर्नु पऱ्यो। र यो चाहिँ तपाईँले अब सानैदेखि पढ्दै आएको कुरा भयो। र यो चाहिँ मैले यहाँ किन राखेको भन्दा हामीले अहिले पोजिसन जान्नुपर्ने हुन्छ राइट। सो यसरी चाहिँ म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्ने। र अब त्यो म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्नको लागि पनि अब हामीलाई फेरि के चाहिन्छ, हामीलाई फेरि लुप चाहिन्छ राइट। सो अब लुप कसरी युज गर्ने त, सबैभन्दा प्रब्लम नै यहीँनिर छ। प्रब्लम त होइन बट इट्स इजी, बट अलिकति कन्फ्युजिङ यहीँनिर हुन्छ राइट। सो सपोज मानौँ एउटा म्याट्रिक्स ए गिभन छ राइट। सो हामीले लिइसकेका छौँ र म्याट्रिक्स बीसँग हामीले मल्टिप्लाई गर्नेवाला छौँ। र अब आई भनेको चाहिँ कलम्स मानिदिउँ र जे भनेको चाहिँ के मानिदिउँ, रोज मानिदिउँ राइट। सो दुईटै म्याट्रिक्समा आई र जेलाई चाहिँ हामीले त्यसरी नै मानिदिउँ। अब त्यस पछाडि पोजिसन्स पनि लेखौँ र 0, 1, 2 पोजिसन भयो। अब यो पोजिसनकै आधारमा मैले प्रडक्ट आई जे निकाल्छु राइट। सो यहाँ देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ तपाईँले, मैले पोजिसनको आधारमा गरेको छु र प्रडक्ट चाहिँ आई र जेको फर्ममा हामी स्टोर गर्छौँ, किनकि हामीले लुपमा चाहिँ आई र जे राखेका छौँ राइट। सो अब यहाँ हेरौँ। सो फर्स्टमा हामीले A00 पोजिसनलाई B00, मतलब A00 मा के छ भ्याल्यु 1 छ। सो रोलाई र कलमलाई मल्टिप्लाई गर्नुपर्छ। सो 1 ले अब 1 लाई गर्छ, एन्ड 1 ले 3 लाई गर्छ, 2 ले 4 लाई गर्छ। सो फर्स्टमा के छ, A00 पोजिसन। सो A00 पोजिसनमा के छ, यहाँ हेरौँ 00 पोजिसनमा 1 छ र अब यो 1 ले केसँग मल्टिप्लाई गर्नु पऱ्यो, यो 1 सँग मल्टिप्लाई गर्नु पऱ्यो राइट। सो मैले यहाँ के गरिदिएको छु, सबैको मल्टिप्लिकेसन मैले पोजिसन्सको आधारमा राखिदिएको छु राइट। र अब फेरि मल्टिप्लिकेसन अब अर्को रोले अर्को कलमसँग त्यसरी नै के गर्छौँ, हामी सबै पोजिसन्समा राखिदिन्छौँ र पोजिसनमा राखिसके पछाडि अब त्यसलाई हामी एनालाइज गर्छौँ। एनालाइज किन गर्छौँ त भन्दा लुप कतिवटा हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा हामी यहाँबाट क्लियर हुन्छौँ राइट। सो मैले यसरी नै 3टा रोले 3टा कलमसँग गरेको, प्रत्येकले गरेको राखेँ। अब यहाँ हेर्न सक्छौँ हामी 0, 0, 0 अनि 1 यसरी चाहिँ चेन्ज भइरहेछ। सो यसलाई के गरिदिउँ, आई मानिदिउँ सुरुमा राइट। सो किन भन्दा यसमा इन्क्रिपमेन्ट छ भ्याल्यु। सो यसलाई, अनि त्यस पछाडि सेकेन्डलाई के छ, अल इज 0। सो यो कन्स्ट्यान्ट छ। सो लाइकवाइज अब अरूमा पनि त्यस्तै छ। सो आई मानिदिउँ यसलाई सुरुकोलाई, र सेकेन्डकोलाई अब के गरिदिउँ, छोडिदिउँ। र बीको भ्यालु पनि हेर्नुहोस् यहाँ 0 छ अलरेडी सबै, र यसमा चाहिँ फेरि इन्क्रिपमेन्ट आएको छ। सो यसलाई जे मानिदिउँ। अब फेरि अर्कोचोटि जाँदाखेरि के छ, यसमा इन्क्रिपमेन्ट छ, कन्स्ट्यान्टलाई छोड्दै अरूलाई आई र जे चाहिँ मान्दै जाउँ राइट। सो अब यो जे भयो। त्यस पछाडि यो आई भयो जे भयो। अब यो सबै कन्स्ट्यान्ट टर्म जति पनि छन् नि यो कन्स्ट्यान्ट टर्मलाई हामी एउटा लुपबाट सल्भ गर्छौँ, किन भन्दा 0 पछाडि अब यहाँ अर्कोचोटि आउँदा 1 अनि अर्कोचोटि आउँदा 2 भइरहेछ। सो के मानिदिउँ सबै पोजिसनलाई, राइट। सो के मानिसके पछाडि अब हामीलाई के थाहा भयो त भन्दा वी निड 3 लुप्स टु सल्भ द म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन। सो म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्न 3 लुप्स अब हामीले मानौँ आई जे र के। यहाँ मैले फर स्टेटमेन्टको लुपको स्टेटमेन्टको सिन्ट्याक्स पनि राखिदिएको छु, यु क्यान सी इट। र एकचोटि भिडियो पज गरेर ट्राई गर्नु होला है त यहाँ। त्यस पछाडि अब सुरुमा फर्स्ट फर लुप स्टार्ट हुन्छ, सेकेन्डमा जान्छ र सेकेन्ड पछाडि थर्डमा जान्छ र एक्चुअल क्यालकुलेसन अब स्टार्ट हुन्छ। नाउ अब मल्टिप्लिकेसन कसरी गर्ने त? अब लुप लाउन त हामीलाई आइसक्यो भनेपछि अब मल्टिप्लिकेसन कसरी गर्ने? नाउ मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्नको लागि हामीलाई सुरुमा चाहिँ के थाहा हुनुपर्छ भन्दा प्रिभियस स्लाइड्समा हामी हेरौँ र त्यसमा चाहिँ के छ भन्दा आई र के छ, राइट। र इज क्रस्ड विथ बीको के र जे पोजिसनसँग मल्टिप्लाई छ। सो प्रडक्ट आइजे चाहिँ के हुन सक्ने भयो भन्दा एआइके क्रस के हुने भयो बिकेजे, र त्यसरी नै फेरि के हुने भयो प्लस, त्यही कन्सेप्टमा प्लस गर्दै हामीले लुप लाउने भयो। सो भनेपछि के भयो त हाम्रो, र त्यसपछि प्रडक्ट इज इक्वल्स टु आइके पोजिसन फर्स्टको ए को आइके क्रस बीको केजेसँग फेरि प्रडक्ट जोइन हुने भयो र यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले कम्बाइन गरेर के गरिदिन सक्छौँ प्रडक्ट आइजेको भ्याल्यु राखिदिन सक्छौँ। सो अब हामी प्रोग्राममा आउँदाखेरि हामीले अहिलेसम्म एलिमेन्ट्सहरू लिइसकेका छौँ। अब हामीले गर्ने भनेको एक्चुअल मल्टिप्लिकेसन हो र मैले एक्चुअल मल्टिप्लिकेसन पनि लेखेको छु। सो फर्स्टमा हामीले फर आई भनेर एउटा लुप लिन्छौँ। सो आई चाहिँ हामीले इनिसियलाइज गर्छौँ 0 मा, राइट। सो आफ्टर द्याट आई इज अलवेज लेस देन ए रो, हामीलाई थाहा भएको कुरा हो त्यो। र आई प्लस प्लस गरेर फेरि आईको भ्याल्यु के गरिदिन्छौँ इन्क्रिप्मेन्ट गराइदिन्छौँ। र अब सेकेन्डमा के हुन्छ फर लुपमा जान्छ सेम एज, तर कलम्स हुन्छ, बीको कलम्ससँग हामीले मल्टिप्लाई गर्ने हो। र अब केमा जान्छ, केमा चाहिँ यो बी कलम्स अथवा ए रोज बाहेक जुन लेखिदिँदा पनि हुन्छ, जस्तो कि ए कलम्स लेख्दा पनि हुन्छ अथवा बी रो लेख्दा पनि फरक पर्दैन। सो मैले यहाँ चाहिँ बी रो लेखेको छु र केलाई पनि के गरिदिने इन्क्रिप्मेन्ट गराइदिने, राइट। अब हामीले सम भनेर एउटा कुनै भेरिएबल मैले लिएछु अलरेडी, र सम इज इक्वल्स टु के छ हामीले अघि गरेको अनुसार सम प्लस आइके, राइट। सो आइके क्रस बिकेजे, राइट। यो चाहिँ हामीले पहिल्यै प्रोग्राममा देखिसक्यो अथवा स्लाइड्समा देखिसकेका छौँ। ओके, अब त्यस पछाडि के को लुप फेरि स्टार्ट हुन्छ र के को लुप भ्याइसकेपछि फेरि जेमा जान्छ र जे को लुपबाट फेरि आईमा जान्छ, राइट। सो यसरी चाहिँ अब म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन हुन्छ। म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन भइसके पछाडि अब हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दा त्यो आएको रिजल्टलाई अब प्रडक्ट आइजेमा लगेर स्टोर गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। र मैले प्रडक्ट आइजेलाई अलरेडी माथि डिक्लेयर गरिसकेको छु। सो प्रडक्ट आइजे भनेको मैले सम भनेर यहाँ लेखिदिएको छु, इक्वाल टु गरिदिएको छु। र अब समलाई फेरि इनिसियलाइज गरिन्छ 0 मा, र अब फेरि अर्कोचोटि लुप घुम्दाखेरि के हुन्छ समको भ्याल्यु 0 हुन्छ। फेरि त्यही प्रोसेसमा के हुन्छ 0सँग अर्को रोको पनि त्यसरी नै क्यालकुलेट हुन्छ। र अब फाइनली हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दा फाइनली प्रिन्टिङ द प्रडक्ट्स भनेको अब प्रडक्ट जे आयो प्रडक्ट आइजेमा जति पनि एरेजहरू आएर बसेका छन्, जति पनि भ्याल्युजहरू आएर बसेका छन् त्यो भ्याल्युहरूलाई अब हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ प्रिन्ट गर्नुपर्छ। सो नाउ लेट्स प्रिन्ट द रिजल्ट इन द फर्म अफ म्याट्रिक्स, राइट। सो म्याट्रिक्स फर्ममा गर्नको लागि पनि हामीलाई के चाहिन्छ, म्याट्रिक्स फर्ममा गर्नको लागि पनि हामीलाई फर लुप स्टेटमेन्ट नै चाहिन्छ। र त्यस पछाडि अब प्रिन्ट गरौँ। रिजल्ट प्रिन्ट गर्नको लागि म फेरि तपाईँलाई डेप्सी++मै लिएर जान्छु र यहाँ देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ प्रिन्टिङ द प्रडक्ट्स भनेर मैले कमेन्ट गरेको छु। र यहाँ पनि फेरि एज युजल प्रिन्ट एफ गरिन्छ प्रडक्ट अफ द गिभन म्याट्रिक्स ए एन्ड बी भन्यो र फर लुप लायो। फर लुपमा आई इज इक्वल्स टु 0 इनिसियलाइज गर्यो र ए रोज भयो, यो सेम प्रोसेस भइहाल्यो। जे को बी कलमसँग हामीले गरेको सो सेम प्रोसेस भयो। प्रिन्ट एफमा अब हामीले के गर्यौँ यहाँ %d बाट इन्टिजर प्रिन्ट गऱ्यौँ। प्रडक्ट आइजेबाट एकून्टा भ्याल्यु कल गर्दै हामीले त्यो 3x3 म्याट्रिक्स नसकिन्जेलसम्म हामीले त्यो लुप घुमाइदियौँ, राइट। सो प्रिन्ट /n ले चाहिँ अब के गर्छ नयाँ लाइन क्रिएट गरिदिन्छ र यसरी चाहिँ अब हाम्रो रिजल्ट क्यालकुलेट भइसक्यो। सो नाउ लेट्स चेक द रिजल्ट। बिफोर द्याट यदि तपाईँलाई कोड चाहिन्छ भने यहाँ सर हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ, पज गरेर स्क्रिनसट पनि लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। ओके, यो चाहिँ हाम्रो होल प्रोग्राम भयो। अब यसलाई एक्जिक्युट गरौँ। सो एक्जिक्युट, कम्पाइल एन्ड रन। र कम्पाइल एन्ड रन गरिसकेपछि तपाईँले यहाँ देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ इन्टर द नम्बर अफ रोज एन्ड कलम्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स ए भनेको छ। अब म्याट्रिक्स ए को मैले 3 गरिदिएँ र यसपछि फेरि इन्टर द एलिमेन्ट्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स ए भन्यो। अब एलिमेन्ट्स इन्टर गर्नु पऱ्यो। अब हाम्रो क्वेसनमा भएको जस्तै एलिमेन्ट्स हामी यहाँ इन्टर गर्छौँ। सो लेट्स इन्टर। सो वी इन्टर द एलिमेन्ट्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स ए। अब फेरि के माग्यो भन्दा इन्टर द नम्बर अफ रोज एन्ड कलम्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स बी भन्यो, राइट। सो अब फेरि 3 गर्छु म र इन्टर गर्छु। इन्टर द एलिमेन्ट्स अफ म्याट्रिक्स बी भन्यो। अब बीको म्याट्रिक्स पनि त्यसरी नै इन्टर गरौँ, सरी। ओके, अब हामीले इन्टर गरिदिने बित्तिकै हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ यहाँ 12, 5, 5, 12, 3, 9, 40, 17 र 15 जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो एन्सर हो। सो यसरी चाहिँ हामीले म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन गर्न सकिन्छ 2D एरे को म्याट्रिक्स मल्टिप्लिकेसन। थ्याङ्क यू फर वाचिङ। प्लिज डोन्ट फर्गेट टु सब्सक्राइब। लभ यु अल। बाई बाई।